0864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Have fun.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam. Is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
Deep to right field at the warning track. See ya.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
At the buzzer.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Huge win for Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. It's a busy day around Oregon athletics. The pre coming up at Hayward Field. Pretty exciting as the summer of Hayward continues. We'll tell you a little bit about that. And if you're heading out, have some fun, will you? Enjoy it at Hayward Field. Going to be a great time. Oregon softball is in action tonight. They are, well, let's just say, feeling pretty good heading into this regional. 5:30 approximate start time on ESPN+. Oregon softball against Wichita State in the regional round this evening. And Oregon baseball last night got a victory. Opened the series against Arizona with a win. Pretty cool to see. The Ducks now, with a win tonight, could clinch fourth place in the Pac-12 tournament and in the Pac-12 regular season standings. We'll see how things shake out. More on that in a second. Also, Oregon women's golf, they've just teed off in the opening round of the NCAA championships out in Scottsdale. Good luck all weekend long to Oregon women's golf. Here's to getting into match play and bringing home a championship here next week. Yeah, it could be Wednesday that they're talking about a championship in match play, and that's also when Oregon baseball is going to play in the Pac-12 tournament. In Scottsdale. It's pretty cool. Ducks in the desert. I like it. Scott said it. I like it. Ducks in the desert. So baseball last night, we're going to hear from Mark Wazakowski, Tanner Smith, Colby Summers, R.J. Gordon. We'll talk about some of the honors for Oregon softball. Going to hear a little bit from Melissa Lombardi before the matchup tonight. And then earlier this week, we sat down with Courtney Nagle. Awesome conversation with the Oregon women's tennis head coach after her team made it to the NCAA tournament for the first time in the last few years. And it's a very young team. Pretty much that entire roster is coming back. Love to see that. So we're going to talk with Coach Nagle coming up here in a little while as well. This is going to be a interesting offseason, I think, for Oregon women's tennis because they are so young, and now they've had that NCAA experience. We'll talk with Coach Nagle about that coming up in just a little while. Let's jump into a little bit of baseball. So Arizona got out to an early one-run lead. Christian Schiaffatelli got the ball. The opener, the Ducks have been going with an opener for the last couple weeks, and Christian Schiaffatelli's pitched a lot, but he hasn't pitched a ton compared to what a normal reliever would be pitching, right? That's kind of how it's been for Christian Schiaffatelli as the opener, and he was really good. Arizona, though, did get out to an early one-run lead. Ducks answered, though. After they went down 1-2-3 against T.J. Nichols, the preseason Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year for Arizona. Ducks went down 1-2-3 in the first, came back in the second. Oregon answered with 5 in the second, and they did it on an Anthony Hall dinger to make it 2-1. His 13th of the year, his 10th in Pac-12 games. That's the most in just Pac-12 games. Anthony Hall having himself an all-conference kind of season. Most in the league, 10 in conference games, 13th overall. And then Tanner Smith homered to make it 5-1. And it came after a 2-out walk to Gavin Grant extended the inning, and then Tanner Smith made the Wildcats pay. Suddenly it's 5-1. The long ball on display for the Ducks again. When Oregon hits home runs, good things tend to happen. And that's exactly what happened last night. Then Tanner Smith homered again later, and that was actually his 11th of the season, and it ended an 18-game drought where Tanner Smith did not hit a home run. It had been a while since he got to number 9, ended an 18-game drought where he did not hit a home run, and he hit 2. His second multi-home run game of his career. And now, again, second on the team. He actually passed Brennan Malone for being second on the team in home runs. Went to went from third place, tied Malone, then got into second place. Yeah. That was pretty cool to see for Tanner Smith. And also of note, I think that this is a really cool note. Tanner Smith has continued to be really, really good for the Ducks. And it's not just what he does at the plate, it's his consistency. Made his 144th start in left field. Josh Kasevich made his 105th start at shortstop. Sam Nowitzki has started 118 games at third base. And Gavin Grant made his 100th career start for the Ducks. That's now 4 players who have started 100-plus games at a single position during their careers. That's some consistency for the Ducks. Now, it's also 5 players on the roster that have started 100 games because Anthony Hall has more than 100 starts, but it's at different positions. Pretty cool, huh? So Tanner Smith ends up going 2 for 5, couple of home runs, 4 RBIs, scored 2 runs, 25th multi-hit game of the season, the 63rd of the career for Tanner Smith. Impressive. Now, I want to shout out especially to Gavin Grant because making that 100th start, Gavin turns a really fast double play, but he's also quietly Oregon's second leading hitter in only Pac-12 games. He's been really good in conference action, hitting over 340. I think an all Pac-12 caliber campaign from Gavin Grant. Anthony Hall deserves to be in the conversation. A lot of Oregon starters at various positions deserve to be in the conversation. We'll find out what happens here in the coming weeks. The Wildcats, though, did get a couple back, loaded the bases in the 8th inning. They were down 8-4 at the time, the Wildcats were. This is in yesterday's game, and the top 2 hitters in total hits in the league in Tanner Otremba and Daniel Susac, actually Daniel Susac and then Tanner Otremba, those 2 guys were up in the 8th inning with the bases loaded with 1 out. So what do the Ducks do? Again, against the 2 guys that have the most hits in the Pac-12 as individuals. Colby Summers came in. He struck out Daniel Susac. Then he struck out Tanner Otremba to end the inning and leave the bases loaded. Tying run was at the plate, and arguably the 2 best hitters in the Pac-12 were at the dish. Way to go, Colby Summers. Also his league-leading 9th save. He tied Peary and Brown. Peary from Arizona State, Brown from Oregon State. So he might end up being the conference leader in saves. He's been so good. And I loved the fact that to end the ball game, Colby Summers caught the pop-up. You know why? They call him Pops. He's actually a dad, if you didn't know, and he got a pop-up. How often do you see the P1 in the scorebook? It's very rare that the pitcher actually catches the pop-up. And Colby Summers, after the game, he's smiling like he knew. He knew. It was pretty cool to see Pops get his 9th save. So what does that mean for the Ducks? Well, what it means is that Oregon is now tied with Arizona, 16-12 in the Pac-12. After the results last night, Oregon State is 19-9, Stanford is 19-9, UCLA 18-10, and then Arizona and Oregon at 16-12. UCLA is playing Oregon State. A win tonight, and UCLA would tie Oregon State, and UCLA would own the tiebreaker with Oregon State. But it doesn't really matter because if Oregon State was to win that 3rd game, then they would be ahead of UCLA. UCLA has to get a sweep if they want to pass Oregon State. But Stanford is playing USC. I don't see Stanford losing to USC, especially when if Stanford wins the next 2, Stanford's the conference champion. They're the 1 seed heading in to the Pac-12 tournament. Beavers could be in first place. They were in first place by as many as 4 or 5 games not that long ago. And Stanford might just catch them. Pretty impressive, the finish for the Cardinal. I think it's safe to say Oregon played Stanford at the right time because the Ducks won that series down in Palo Alto. So as it stands, it's Oregon State and Stanford tied at 19-9, UCLA at 18-10, and then Arizona and Oregon both at 16-12. If Oregon wins either tonight or tomorrow, the Ducks would guarantee a finish above Arizona in the Pac-12 standings. However, with Washington and Arizona State both 6 games back, Washington's in the clubhouse, as they say, with a 14-16 record. They've got the non-conference series this week. They're at 14-16, then Arizona State at 13-15, and then Cal and Utah are playing each other this week. Winner of that series secures the final spot in the Pac-12 tournament. So Oregon, with another win, would not only win the series against Arizona, but guarantee a finish in the top half of the teams that are eligible for the Pac-12 tournament. The top 8 teams go to the Pac-12 tournament beginning Wednesday at 9 a.m. next week. The Ducks will play in that Wednesday 9 a.m. game, and they're going to play Arizona. Neither Oregon nor Arizona can catch UCLA for third place, or Stanford or Oregon State for that matter, and neither Washington nor Arizona State can catch either Oregon or Arizona. So after the results yesterday, the top 3 seeds, we don't know where they're going to be yet, but we do know that the 4 and 5 seeds will be Oregon or Arizona, regardless of what happens in this weekend series. That means it's a 9 a.m. first pitch on Wednesday morning. Bright and early in Scottsdale, folks. Jordan Brenner and I will be traveling after the show next Tuesday, getting in, sleeping for a few hours, getting up, going to the ballpark, calling an Oregon baseball victory, then driving across Scottsdale to the women's golf team, hopefully winning a national championship. That's going to be a great day. It's going to be a good Wednesday. We won't have Duck Insider for you Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week because of the Pac-12 baseball tournament. We just don't know when Oregon's going to play, so we're not able to put together a show for you. But we will have shows Monday and Tuesday to preview everything and talk about what's going on. We'll talk softball regionals, women's golf, and the national championship, and everything else. So that's what it did for the Pac-12 standings. And what it did for the RPI, the Ducks are now at 22 in the RPI, sitting at 33 and 21 overall, and Arizona has dropped to number 36 in the RPI. Another couple wins, and the Ducks might be a top 20, top 15 RPI team, depending on how things shake out. So the Ducks are in the 4-5 game. We know that. They're going to play Arizona again. Basically a 4-game series with Arizona here at the end of the year. Love to see it. Ducks and Wildcats game 2 today, 3:45 pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network, and we've got a 4 o'clock first pitch. Bark in the Park Day at PK Park. If you want to come out to the ballpark, bring your best friend. $20 package. You can come with your dog. He gets a bandana or she gets a bandana, duck-themed. Bark in the Park at PK Park. When we come back, let's hear from Mark Wazakowski, Tanner Smith, Colby Summers, and RJ Gordon. Ducks won game 1. Now they're going for game 2 tonight. Ducks and Wildcats. We're talking baseball when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer starts here at your local Toyota dealer. Come in for huge savings on great Toyotas, like the adventurous RAV4, the sleek Venza, and the Ruby Highlander. For more information, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Summer starts here at your local Toyota dealer. Come in for huge savings on great Toyotas, like the adventurous RAV4, the sleek Venza, and the Ruby Highlander. For more information, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon getting ready for Arizona again at PK Park, and the Ducks got a good win last night. Mark Wasikowski, Oregon head coach, I think he was pretty happy. The long ball got going, some key at-bats, some great pitching performances. Good formula for success for the Ducks. Here's Coach Waz.
Another nice win today. Just what do you see from the offense, and how they came together again? You guys have a nice little offensive streak going here.
Yeah, I thought they did a really nice job. I mean, the Nichols kid that they have on the mound he's likely to be a first-round pick next year, and we handled him very well, very competitive against, one of the best arms in the country. And so for Coach Martyr to get the hitters prepared to do that today, I thought was tremendous.
For you guys to answer back so quickly in the second like you did, is it just nice to see that?
Oh, heck yeah. Anytime you can score runs, we like it.
Second straight outing, RJ's had a really nice outing out of the pen. What have you seen from him in a different role? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I can't understand the chemistry of the thing. I just know when he looks right, and when he's out there with the like we've seen the last couple of outings now for sure. And when he's out there and he's competing the way he is, I mean, the ball comes out of his hand really good. He's up to 95 miles an hour with a good changeup and a breaking ball. I mean, that's hard to hit. And I don't know, it seems like Coach Angier figured out some things with the pitching and was able to use some guys in some more productive spots, and it's, at least in the short term, it's been very, very effective, which is nice.
What do you see from Schiff in his third start in 7 days?
Well, yeah, it's Schiff was fantastic. Third start in 7 days. Yeah, I mean, he goes an inning to two. Today was 2 2/3. Schiff's not, his job isn't to go out there and throw 5 innings. His job is to go out there and throw an inning or 2 innings or sometimes 3 innings or whatever. But Schiff's doing a tremendous job. It's the look that we want to start a game with, is really the mission behind what we're doing with Schiff. And he's one of, if not the most competitive people in the program. And to start that in a game, to use his, short stint is just more of a mentality thing maybe than anything else for our ball club, because we want to start with what it looks like on the hill, and Schiff's set the tone now several times in a row.
What does Schiff do when you say that, that's what you want to show to start the game? What does Schiff do in particular that does that for you guys?
Well, he's a leader behind the scenes. He runs practices, he runs the bunt station, he runs the PFPs, he runs the weight room, he runs everything that you don't see on game day. And so when you have that kind of stock in the locker room with your teammates, and people understand how hard you've worked and how much you've put into it, usually good things come to those kind of people. And when Christian's starting out there, the guys are behind him because they know what he's invested in this program now for 4 years, and he's a tremendous kid. And he's made a lot of changes to where, with Coach Angier, to where you see the success with the mechanics and stuff like that right now. It wasn't like that at one point in time. And so just his work ethic and his desire and his fight is what's most intriguing about Christian, and why the guys are so excited to play behind him.
For Colby to come in the 8th there and get Susak and their number 3 guy with 2 punch-outs, it's just pretty big, obviously, for you guys.
Really big. When you're striking a guy out that's, with the bases loaded, and it's a 4-run game, and that guy's going to be drafted inside of the first 10 picks in the country this year, yeah, that's a big out right there. And for Colby to be able to do that and get the 2 strikeouts in the 8th and then go through the 9th and make it look routine, those are really 5 hard outs to get, and he makes it look routine, which is just amazing. He's something to have.
We haven't seen Colby in a little bit, but it did seem like today that he was just smoother out there. His coming from the stretch, it looked smoother. Did he work on stuff with Coach Angier, and how do you think that paid off tonight?
I don't know. I think he was probably playing wiffle ball with his son at home, and he got him into a better groove. He was just enjoying being around his family a little bit more.
Is he one of those guys who just needs those high leverage situations to kind of bring out his best stuff?
Probably. He's that kid. He wants the baseball in the toughest times. And He's a joy to be around. We're lucky to have him, in this program right now. It's every day I get to be around that guy. We've got a saying around here that says, keep the uniforms on for another day for Pops, and that's for Colby Summers.
Tanner had 2 home runs today. Can you just talk about the performance he had?
I thought it was spectacular. For him, I think he got, 5 RBI day or 4 or 5 RBI day with a couple of home runs, really critical swings. He's been a steady defender for us. He's made a couple of nice plays out there in left field today. And he's, your leadoff hitter. And so, again, when you're starting a game with Schiff and you're starting a game with Tanner Smith, you're starting a game with 2 of your toughest guys in the program, and that's why we do that.
You've been switching Malone and Walsh between DH and first. Is that just trying to mix things up? Or?
They're both really good players, and, I like them both out there in the field.
On that third out of the 8th inning, Summers' strikeout, but Thompson does a great job blocking the ball. So threw out a runner today, and an RBI double. Just what have you seen from him the last couple of games where he's gotten a few starts?
Oregon kids are tough. I want more of them.
Yeah. Another thing, you guys and your celebrations, your home run hat, your cowboy hat, how did that come to be?
You'll probably ask the players. It's a little foreign to me. I'm excited. The only criticism I have for them is when they don't have enough fun. So.
The cowboy hat has been a great addition. Anytime somebody hits a home run, they get a cowboy hat on their head. We'll hear a little bit more about that coming up, I have a feeling. It's been pretty funny. R.J. Gordon was the keeper of the cowboy hat on the trip to Arizona State. That's all I'll tell you. Tanner Smith, he talked to the media next.
Tanner, 2 home runs today. Which one felt better?
Probably that first one. Just a little bit more of just a grindy at bat, fouled off some good pitches, and then finally got the barrel out on a good fastball.
That's a good guy, their starter. What did you guys see from him that you were kind of able to jump on there in the second?
Yeah, he was pretty good. He had great stuff. I think we kind of just kept it simple, eliminated his off-speed pitches, and just really tried to attack the fastball, and I think we did a really good job at that.
What made you guys decide to eliminate his off-speed pitches?
Honestly, it was kind of it was tough to see for us hitters with that new batter's eye and the reflectiveness from the sun. So anything with spin was kind of tough. So we just all decided let's just try to get a fastball and put our best swings on it.
It's obviously a big series with a lot of craziness going on at the top of the Pac-12. Just how nice is it to get this one, I don't want to say out of the way, but start the series off right?
No, it's big. Friday night wins are always big. They give you a little momentum going into the next 2 days, and yeah, it's a really big series for us. So, we're going to come out and try to play our best baseball.
You've been on a tear recently. Is that because you switched to a new bat?
No. Maybe it is the bat. I don't know. But, yeah, I guess that's just part of the game, and it's just, ups and downs all years, and it's just really sticking with it. And, sometimes it goes and sometimes it doesn't.
You guys have, as an offense, have been a lot better since that team meeting between the 2 UCSD games. What's been the difference since then?
Honestly, I really just think it's having more fun. I think these last 4 or 5 games, we've really seen a lot more smiles in the dugout, a lot more smiles in the locker room, and everybody just embracing the opportunity in the last couple of games we have with each other.
Speaking of the smiles, you guys have been breaking out the cowboy hat after home runs. What led to that?
To be honest with you, I don't know. We were at Arizona, and then forgot someone hit a home run there, and then all of a sudden I saw the cowboy hat, and I'm rolling with it.
You don't know who brought the hat in?
I have no idea how that thing showed up, but it's working, so we'll stick with it.
Speaking of hats, it seems like this is a random question, but every other play we watch Colby Shade's hat fall off.
It's crazy.
Does he just wear a big lid?
It's crazy. He claims that's the smallest hat we have, and every play where we come close to each other, that hat comes off, and I always joke with them. I say, hey, you need to get a smaller hat. I think every time. I even joke with them. His hair's getting long too, and that hat's still coming out. So yeah, we need to figure out how small that head actually is.
There was a flying ball to left field today. I think it was in the 5th inning that looked like it was going to be a pop-up and then carried all the way to the fence. Can you go through that with us?
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, off the bat, I thought the ball was crushed. I thought, it was going to go. I knew it was really high, and so I just kind of just ran back to the fence, started deep, and then just worked my way in on it.
I remember that one. There were a couple that really, let's just say, went in a hurry for both teams. And I noticed that too. I was glad that Tanner got asked about that after the game because ball did seem like it was sailing a little bit. Colby Summers, Pops. Let's hear a little bit from him. You heard Mark Wasikowski say it. I mean, look, this is cool. They want to keep that uniform on another day for Pops. Awesome. The Oregon closer was excellent. Struck out two of the best hitters in the conference in the 8th inning with the bases loaded to give the Ducks that 10-4 win.
Coming in there in the 8th with, there's not a lot of better hitters in the Pac-12 than Susak coming up there. What's going through your head?
I mean, yeah, I know the situation. I know Susak's obviously a great player, and then Tremba was a good hitter too. And my mentality is just to pound strikes and fill up the zone with my best stuff, and thought I did that today.
I thought you had your best stuff probably that we've seen so far, at least at PK. Just have you been working on anything? We haven't seen a lot from you recently. Is there anything that you've been working on behind the scenes?
Not necessarily. Been tweaking my breaking ball grip a little bit to get it so it's more top to bottom shape instead of side to side. Sometimes I'll get on the side of it and it turns into more of a slider where what I want it to be is more of a slurve, something that's in between a slider and a breaking ball, or a 12-6. So yeah, it was just minor adjustments, nothing crazy.
How much fun are these moments, like the one you had in the 8th inning where, I mean, you're coming in with bases chucked and two of the best hitters in the league up?
Yeah, I mean, it's a ton of fun. Obviously it's, you have a lot of adrenaline in those high leverage situations, and, to be able to get out of that without letting up any more runs is feels good, but yeah, it's a lot of fun for sure.
Did you get the depth on your slider or your slurve that you were looking for today?
Yeah, I thought I got on top of it better today, and it was the shape that I wanted to be. Yeah, I thought it was a lot better than it has been in the past.
How about that? Colby Summers feels like he's getting better down the stretch. Look out, Pac-12. Finally, R.J. Gordon, he met with the media afterwards, and I'll tell you what, R.J.'s been really good in this role. And I joked with him on the bus that there's a stat in baseball, right? The quality start. Like, you have numbers of a certain criteria that give you a quality start. Well, I said, hey, R.J., I mean, why not a quality relief? He's had a few of them. I felt like this one didn't have the length of innings, but, man, the way he pitched, it was good. R.J. Gordon here.
R.J., another good outing out of the pen. Just do you think that there's a difference? What has been the difference in these last two performances?
I don't really think there's too much different. Maybe just thinking I got, more on the line or coming in a tough situation with runners on, but there's nothing that sticks out to me. Just throwing after shift is fun. That guy competes, so he gets things started off right, and then I come in and do what I can do.
Moss has talked a lot about Shift, just being a competitor, being a leader. Like, what do you see from him on a day-to-day basis? Just makes you guys want to go to war with him.
Yeah, no matter what it is, if we're at practice, game, playing wiffle ball, like Waz said, he wants to win, and that's a guy I want on my team for as long as I can.
You bumped up to 94 today. I think Waz said you're at 95, maybe a little bit of an inflation, but
okay.
I don't know if you've hit that yet this year. I knew you did last year. Just that little extra motivation. What was that about?
I just felt like throwing it hard, that pitch, I guess. That's really about all I got for you.
For you guys they get that run there in the first, and then you guys pour 5 on in the second. Just how nice is it to have an offense that's capable of doing that really quickly?
Yeah. Both of my last outings, I've got to come in and throw after a big inning, and just having run support's nice. It does take a little pressure off. I try not to let it affect me too much. I try and treat it like it's a one-run ball game or tie ball game. But yeah, it's nice having those guys in the lineup every day.
Waz mentioned that you and Angier have kind of worked with some stuff. You don't have to get into specifics, but if you can, what have you done to try to help?
I think it's just mentality, really. No, there's nothing really mechanical or anything like that. Just going out there like it's my last outing I'm going to have all year is really the big thing. Whether it's starting or coming out of the pen, it's just, I got to treat it like it's my last, not make any game bigger than the next. Just go day by day and treat everything like it's my last outing. Going back to your last outing, you had a 3-pitch inning. Is that the first time you've ever done that? That was crazy. I didn't think that guy was going to swing on the third pitch, so I was just going to throw it down the middle and try and get a free strike. And he gave me a 3-pitch inning, so yeah, it was nice.
In the final inning today, it looked like you worked only from the stretch. Frankly, I don't remember if you did that in your other innings. But
I did. I worked at the stretch both outings. the entire time. And I just been feeling comfortable there. I don't think I've been as effective out of the windup, and I'm gonna have to throw out of the stretch in tough situations. So I just kind of said, might as well just stay there, since that's where I'm gonna be the most in tough situations coming out of the pen.
Do you like working on a specific side of the rubber? Because I know shift was far right.
I switch off. So if I face when I'm facing a righty, I'm close to first base. When I'm facing a lefty, I'm closer to third base. So it depends on the hitter.
I know some guys get kind of scared of losing velocity if they're just out of the stretch. Is that not the case with you?
Yeah, no. I could care less about my velo. Just executing, pounding strikes. I trust my defense, trust my offense. We're going to be ahead. They're going to make plays. So if I'm throwing hard or not, just throwing strikes as much as I can.
You said you wanted to just throw that 94, 95 just because you wanted to throw hard. Do you find yourself with more situations where you just want to throw hard coming out of the pen rather than as a starter? Is it a little different of a mentality?
I guess it just depends what the scenario is. If there's runners on and I'm ahead 0-2 or something, I'm going to want to try and blow something by a guy, or it just kind of depends on the situation. But I don't really think there's a difference between the starting and the coming out of the pen.
With Chifatelli starting and you coming in, do you kind of like that combination going forward? Whatever works?
Yeah, it's working well the last 2 times. Really, whatever coaches tell me to do, I'm going to do it, and I'm all for winning. So if we're going to win that way, then I'm all for it.
He's all for winning, RJ Gordon. Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. RJ is, man, he's been fun to watch. Working out of the stretch, that's something that I've noticed. That was Jared that asked that question. That's something that I noticed too, and he's been really good in this role. He's been really good out of the stretch. Mechanics are solid. That's what you're looking for. Isaac Ayon gets the ball today for the Ducks, trying to build on this pitching performance. And when we come back and switch gears, talk a little bit with Courtney Nagle, the Oregon women's tennis coach, after a great season for her squad. That's next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat, or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon softball coming up tonight. A 5:30 estimated start time against Wichita State in the Fayetteville Regional. ESPN Plus, KWVA on the radio. And earlier we got a chance to catch up with Courtney Nagle, the tremendous Oregon women's tennis coach, a former Duck herself. Awesome conversation. We're recapping the season with Courtney Nagle. Let's begin with congratulations on a just tremendous season, Coach. First of all, it's been a while since you've actually been physically in the studio Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. So tell fans a little bit about the season that was. We've been talking about it on the show now for the last few weeks, especially leading up to the NCAA tournament, competing in the NCAA tournament. What was that experience like going to the NCAAs?
It was exciting all around. I think it's something that we've wanted to get the opportunity to do for the last handful of years. We were really close last year and did make the cut, and so I think the motivation was very high amongst our team to really put ourselves in position to be clearly in the tournament. And I think a lot of them were very excited when they saw our name on the draw, and we got to go to Texas, to Austin to play Michigan. And yeah, it was a great experience. I think we've got a really young team, so for them to be in that situation now is going to just help them for the future and continue to help us grow and keep pushing.
We talked after the selection announcement. Myself, a few other members of the media there talking with you guys, and there's just nothing like that moment, is there? I mean, how would you describe the way that your team reacted to that?
Well, there was a lot of buildup going into the selection because we had some that, from last year, they thought, beating Stanford, beating USC, that we could make it into the tournament, and that wasn't the case. And so there were some that were skeptical. They weren't going to believe it until they saw the name on the board. And I was like, I'm not going to tell you that we're getting in unless I'm sure that we're getting in, and I'm sure that we're going to make the tournament.
You're an NCAA tournament scholar. I mean, right? I mean, that's what every coach is ultimately.
I don't know about that, but I was like, I'm sure that we're getting in, and so they started speculating about the different host sites and where we could go. And one of the players particularly had kept mentioning Texas. So when our name came up on the board, they were obviously excited to see it. So the skeptics were like, we're in. And then when it showed the host site, they were like, it's Texas. I knew it. I told you. Yeah, so I think it was just great to see all their hard work, get them so far and to put them in that situation. I think they were also just, I'd imagine, very proud of themselves as well, because we had a tough season. I mean, there was a lot of travel, adversity, and I think they did a tremendous job of just handling everything that came at them, whether it was a high load of academics and juggling that with travel, illnesses or injuries that came up, and all of that, and to put themselves in that situation was pretty special.
Yeah, I just was so thank you, one, for letting someone like me be there, because just seeing the reaction that they had in that moment, it's just pure joy, because it is a lot of hard work that pays off, and then it kind of begins a new season, doesn't it? So you mentioned the NCAA tournament experience, and like how valuable that is. How can you quantify that for a young team like you guys have? What experience is it that can help you move forward now the rest of their careers?
I think now they understand what it takes to get there, and I think before that, it was just this thing that they wanted, and they didn't quite know what it took. And now they know that, and they can take that with them into future years. And I think they know the preparation that they had lead in the summer and in the breaks and all that, and how that helped them come in better. And I think a big reason for our success this year was that our fitness level was higher than it had been in previous years, which then helped us be healthier.
Yeah.
And because we were healthier, we were able to win out some of those longer matches, or push teams a little bit farther, and just kind of expand that limit that we had before. And I think that's going to really help us in the future.
It wasn't that long ago that you and I were talking about a team that had faced so much adversity that you guys weren't able to field an entire lineup, right? I mean, just to go from there to now here, I mean, just that's a fitness thing, isn't it? I mean, that's a really cool moment, I feel like, for you guys this year.
Yeah, I think fitness and great care on the athletic medicine side and has really kind of helped the players just stay on top of things with their bodies, because when they get back from trips, school is a big priority, but they also make the other stuff a priority, and it really has shown. Yeah. And I think just staying on top of that will continue to help. But yeah.
And hopefully a little bit of luck too.
Yeah.
You don't want that something to happen in a match that's just the ball bounced the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes it just hits the net and it dribbles one way, and what can you do? But
that's tennis right there in a nutshell, isn't it? Courtney Nagle joining us. So some of the essentials for you: 15 wins this season. Win total has increased each of the last 3 years. 9-1 at home this year, and 25-5 over the last 3 seasons at home. I want to stop on the essentials there. How key is it to get those home victories? How special has it been getting those home victories the last few years, and especially 9-1 at home this year?
Yeah, we play well at home. We always get a good crowd. It's nice to sleep in their own bed, and there's not a lot changing or not as many adjustments that need to be made as you have with travel. And I think sometimes it's tough to play in Eugene as well, because you have teams coming to an environment where maybe they're not used to playing indoors.
Interesting.
Our outdoor courts can be challenging as well, because they're pretty slow, and most teams they maybe have a day or a practice to adjust to them, and so depending on the weather in Eugene too, they may not get the opportunity to practice on those if we play a match there.
Right.
They might be indoors, or it just depends on what the weather gods throw our way.
Home court advantage.
But yeah, there's definitely something special about being at home, and especially on our senior days too. Yeah. We've had some really great moments there. We usually get the band to come out and play, and the girls are pretty relaxed and dancing around kind of before the match. And the past 2 years, we've had some really, really memorable moments. Last year beating Stanford 4-3, and then this year we played the Huskies on senior day, which is a big rival of ours. Yeah. And I think our senior day this year was the most complete match we played all year. From doubles to singles, I think we came out and we played really well. And from 1 to 6 singles, I think everybody showed up and competed. And I mean, we played in the clinch format, so once we got to 4, it was over. And that's a very good team. I mean, they beat UCLA earlier in the season, and made it to the final site of the National Indoor Championship. So to take them out 4-0 on senior day was really special. And so, yeah, we definitely like playing at home.
Looking back at some of the cool memories from the Oregon women's tennis season, they were excellent at home this year. More coming up with the head coach, Courtney Nagle, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too. Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, we continue our conversation here on a Friday with Oregon women's tennis head coach Courtney Nagle. Team made the NCAA tournament. We're looking back on the season with the head coach Courtney Nagle. 4 road wins. And you guys were on the road, it seems like, an awful lot this year. That's the most since 2017 to get those wins on the road.
Yeah, we had our more Pac-12 away matches this year. And
Gotta love that rotation.
And we started off with a tough road trip out to ITA in kickoff, where we ended up losing both matches, and that was a tough trip. But I think that trip helped prepare us for our Denver and Wisconsin matches, which was the following weekend. And so we got to experience some good competition. I think that got us ready. But then we were in altitude in Denver, and that was the reason we played. That was to help prepare us for later in the season when we were going to play at Colorado and Utah, and BYU. So we had those 3 matches in the end of the season. And I mean, if you had told me that we were going to go 5-0 in the altitude, I would have been really excited.
I'll take it.
I was like, yes, I will take it. And so after the first trip, we're 2-0, 2 great teams, two great wins. One of them was a 4-3 match. I think it came down to Maya. Yeah, the Wisconsin match came down to Maya. Came back from won it in 3 sets, and that was a great moment for her, especially coming from last year. She had some injuries and was in and out of the lineup, and then coming in and playing 2 for us, she did a tremendous job of really stepping up. And so I think that was just a big confidence builder for her as well. And then we beat Denver, and then we were home for a bit, and then we had our California swing.
Yeah.
And then we had our Colorado and Utah swing. And we had a 4-3 win against BYU, which that was a unique place for us to play at. We played on 4 courts, and it ended up coming down to the last 2 matches. So,
of course it did.
So the 4 matches we're playing, the first 4 matches of singles go out, and once one match finishes, then the next person, the number 5 singles, will go on.
Yeah, you just tag them in.
Yep. And so it was close, and I think at that point we were up 3-2 in the match. We needed one more, and Allison and Usia went on, and Usia ended up losing her first set, had a lot of opportunities, deuce points, but ended up losing that first set. And then I think the moment that she realized that it was going to come down to her, she flipped a switch, and she played a great second set to win that second set. But the third set, I mean, she was an absolute. I mean, that was some of the best tennis I've seen her play all season, and she really locked in and dominated that third set, and took home the victory. And then I think we had another 4-3 match against Utah the following day, and Karin, it came down to her, and she was down. I think she was down 5. I wasn't on her court specifically, but I think she was down a set and either 4-1 or 5-1 in that second set. And she came back and won the match in 3, and was very gritty. And that was a good player, and first time she's ever been in that situation. To do that was pretty impressive.
Okay, I remember your quote, I think in Darren's recap, actually, talking about these moments, right? Like the come from behind. And so it's so cool for me to hear you now recount it personally, because it's like, man, those moments mean a lot throughout the course of the season. Also, too, Every coach, I'm always fascinated and amazed at how much you guys can remember throughout the course of a season. Like, that was almost like a full play-by-play highlight reel of some of those road matches. So, I mean, you guys just have it filed away, don't you?
I have sometimes my memory's spotty. Sometimes
selective memory.
Elizabeth is really good with her memory's amazing, so she'll remind me of things too. But yeah, most of the stuff we remember, and you know, all the good stuff for sure.
The depth is something too that, like, even just recounting all of those moments throughout the course of the season right there, a lot of different names, a lot of different student athletes that you mentioned. 5 players with 15 or more singles wins this season. That's the first time that an Oregon team has done that since the 03-04 season. This has got to be, with that in mind, one of the deeper groups we've ever seen here.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of depth, and even coming off of our bench, there's a lot of depth there, and that's what's exciting to me is that I think we achieved a lot this year, but I don't think we reached our full potential as a team. I think we can do more, and I think a lot of our players have more in them that they may not have been able to bring out this year, but I'm excited to see them bring that out in future years too.
A very young group, as we've been talking about. What is the off-season focus for your team? I know it's a little different for every individual. What is the off-season focus?
I think first is like recover from the season. We obviously give them time off, and you know, we have 2 weeks now where we just go into a little bit of an 8-hour period where we can practice and do some training. But fitness is going to continue to be that focus. For those that have little injuries here and there, it's continuing to kind of build those to the point where, you know, they're no longer injuries and they're just kind of maintaining those. But fitness and staying competitive, playing tournaments. We like our players to play ideally 3 tournaments in the summer if they can, because you build up so much confidence throughout this season playing matches and competing, and you want to keep it going. Because if you do that and you don't compete for 3 months and then you come back in September, then you're kind of having to restart that engine a little bit. And so we want them to keep that going.
You have an international roster. I mean, truly. And, you know, it's so interesting for me how some sports are more international driven in the recruiting scale anyway. And you have that international roster. How beneficial is that, just one, to the team to have some different backgrounds, but then two, to be able to play in maybe some other types of tournaments? It's not just here on U.S. soil.
Well, I think with the internationals, they come with a lot of experience. You know, I think some of them have traveled at a young age on their own, so that brings a certain level of maturity and individuality in that. And I think it's cool for the teammates, because if they want to go visit those countries, they have a friend, a teammate, someone that knows the country, knows the area, that can help them. I know I certainly did that as a student athlete, you know, visiting teammates in other countries to play tournaments, and so we have that. And I know some of them are definitely planning some trips, which is always good.
Quick aside, because I was curious when you were talking about altitude. We know that fitness levels in altitude affects different athletes differently. I've heard, trust me, I've had this conversation with a lot of different people over the years, sports scientists, coaches, athletes. What about the game itself? Like, does the ball handle different? I mean, what is different at altitude? Anything?
The ball flies. Yeah. So typically you string your rackets a little bit tighter. You need we left for those tournaments and we left a day early for each of those trips so that we could have some more time just adjusting to the ball, because it just comes a little bit quicker and it's a little bit harder to control at times. So a lot of times players will complain that they're missing, and their normal range is just they're missing by, you know, maybe a couple inches here or there, and it's just I think that's a big challenge with that, is just getting comfortable with that. So one way to do it is stringing your strings a little bit tighter, and every athlete is also different in how they adjust, and some adjust a little bit quicker. Some, like we have one player who didn't really even notice a difference, and so sometimes it just depends on what they're focusing on too. But yeah, everybody has their adjustment period, and with the altitude and breathing, we definitely, the first couple rallies that they have, like afterwards, they definitely are feeling that it's harder to breathe and there's less oxygen. And
that was interesting. I learned a lot talking with Courtney Nagle, Oregon women's tennis head coach, and my thanks to her for joining us to recap what was a truly successful season, and they're looking forward to next year already. That's a young group that got NCAA tournament experience as we are starting to finish up all the seasons around Oregon athletics. And we're going to finish up the show right after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Finishing up today's show and this week's shows. We've got Oregon baseball tonight with a 3:45 pregame show and a 4 o'clock first pitch. That's going to be on the Pac-12 Network, and I'll have the call on the Oregon Sports Network. Oregon softball led by first-teamers Allie Bunker and Hannah Delgado. A few all-region selections for the Ducks. Bunker, Delgado, and then despite missing half the season due to injury, Tara McGowan was also named to the second team, and freshman Stevie Hansen named to the all-region team on Thursday. Ducks are in action, 5:30, estimated start time on ESPN Plus against Wichita State to begin their regional out in Arkansas. Let's hope they're moving on to those Supers. And good luck to Oregon women's golf in the NCAA championships. We'll see you at PK Park this weekend.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov.